All right. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us today for episode number 23 of the Tattoo Weekly with super special guest, Jesse Smith. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or the Reinventing the Tattoo website, just let us know that these streams are working by dropping your name in the chat or tagging a friend who loves tattoos and would like to join in on our fun. You guys can check out some of the Reinventing Weekly drawing groups and shows on the Reinventing Network too. Joining us today for episode number 23 of the Tattoo. But yeah, we before we get started, want to say thank you to our sponsors for helping us push out cool content to you guys. World Tattoo Events giving us the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events in the world. As a matter of fact, in March alone, they are having and posting 44 tattoo events, so definitely check them out. We've got Raw Pigments with their acrylic-free pigments and DLize Pro helping artists and clients protect their art. Also, thank you to our affiliates Fireside Tattoo, The Apprenticeship Diaries, Tattoo Now, and EcoFriendlyTattooSupplies.com. In about 30 minutes, we're going to bring in the world-renowned artist, Jesse Smith. Jesse has spent his life developing his own signature style of quirky cartoon-style designs with notable use of color. He's the owner of Loose Screw Tattoo in the beautiful city of Richmond, Virginia. Some of the new ventures that will boggle your mind in ways you'll only want more of are his illustrated documentation of a newly discovered continent alongside world-renowned explorer Frank Sinatra. It's something straight from the dream worlds of yesteryear. For those of you just hearing about NFTs, today's show is for you. The Tattoo Shop NFT is accepting applications to join their team too. Jesse's project, Tattoo Shop NFT, is a new concept, so you guys drop your questions in the chat and we'll have time to talk about them towards the end of the show. Without any further ado, we're going to bring in Gabe Ripley and Jake Meeks to get started today. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, fantastic.
Good morning.
All right, let's get some intros going for any new viewers. I'm Lauren with Reinventing the Tattoo and Raw Pigments.
Who's going next? You're going next, Jake?
I'll go next. I'm Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network, where we focus on helping tattooers draw better pictures, blur the lines between tattooing and fine art.
And I'm Gabe Ripley from Tattoo Now and Reinventing. I'm a computer geek, so I help tattooers with computer stuff and tattoo shops and supply companies. But anybody that's helping tattooing become a better place, the world become a better place. Okay, we're gonna be quick and then roll the intro, right?
Yep, here we go. It is showtime.
All right. I just
How are you
noticed
guys
that
feeling
intro,
today?
that intro still says Sunday at 9 p.m. We probably need to update that.
We should probably update that.
Yeah.
It's not Sunday?
No.
But we are doing it consistently every Monday at 11 now.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's a great time for me. It's nice to catch up with you guys and see what your weekend was like and all that good stuff.
Yeah, same here.
Absolutely.
Same
We've got
here,
the Roku's operating properly now, so people can go to the Roku and do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo, and it's going. I just uploaded, maybe against my better judgment, but we did upload the Drunk Critique channel.
Nice. Has anyone edited it down from 9 hours to say 4.5 hours?
You know, it's a 24-hour stream. It's 3 episodes.
Right. So yeah, if you 24 hours and 3 episodes. Well, you know, I've been known to sit up late into the night watching whatever happens to come up on YouTube. So I'm sure someone will stream all 24 hours.
I mean, there's plenty of people that would have gotten on not remembering the conversations that they had the previous, Drunk Critique. Go figure. But
yeah. So what went on last week, guys? I'm sorry I missed. I was in the air coming home from Philadelphia.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that too. We had a great show last week, actually, with Oh man, Gabe, what was his name? I'm terrible.
Oh, we had an interview last week with Gene Coffee.
Gene Coffee. There you go.
Yeah,
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 really
Awesome.
good.
Yeah, he's
Really
great.
good. I had a blast. I'd never met him before. It was a
Yeah,
really
we'll definitely have him
interesting
back on.
guy. Yeah, really, really interesting guy. How was the show, Lauren?
Philadelphia was awesome. I can probably share some of the photos I took. I think I took about 1,000 photos. It was a lot of fun. I got to see some people that know you, Gabe, as well. There was,
Uh-oh.
it's a good thing. Our booth, we were really excited to bring in 2 Brazilian artists, and they took home best of show, best of the day on Friday and Sunday.
Nice.
So the George Lunge, I talked about him before. He actually started working on a client before the show started on Friday, all the way till Sunday. So they would show up before the show starts, all the way to the end. It was just really cool to see that type of work ethic from George, and that type of, I guess the client was, I told him he was like a grade A client, one of the best I'd ever seen.
That's a tremendous physical feat for somebody to get through that.
Yep.
It's amazing when tattooers have the portfolio, the spirit to be able to inspire clients to be able to do that. It helps more clients want pieces like this. Let's see it. We get to see pictures.
Sure, I can pull it up through some of the stuff that we have. And not only that, he actually was the client that you guys would probably dream about. So he came in, and our other booth mate, Tony, his client canceled on Friday. So the guy volunteered to get tattooed by both artists at the same time. And it was a fantastic piece up his forearm as well as his entire leg. So it was just champion material right there. He actually went to enter it in Detroit yesterday or over the weekend. And I think he met up with Fawn and some of those guys.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yep. I think just the overall convention vibe is tough because, there's so many distractions, and, it's, if you have a client that comes in, it just takes a huge part. So this was completed over about 30 plus hours in Philadelphia, if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is
definitely.
yeah, that's a lot of work. I'm always amazed to see people get through large scale work like that in a single event. Ooh. Yeah, it's really nice. And so both guys were both artists worked on both pieces, or one on the forearm and one on the leg?
He worked on the entire leg. So we also had Tony as well, and Tony worked on another piece. And I've showed him before. I would love to bring him on. If we had a translator, would be great. But yeah, it's Philadelphia was tough this year because the security to get in was just. This is the piece that took best of show that he did on Sunday Sunday. The security to get in took us like over an hour to get in. There were mask mandates, but it wasn't really necessarily paid attention to once you got to the floor. Food and drink was a huge situation as well, but overall, I think the weekend was pretty fantastic.
What do we need a Spanish interpreter, or what language?
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe
So if
Litos would
anybody's,
be interested if you're
yeah.
watching Litos.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so this was his client from Saturday and Sunday. So this was a full days on both days. It's just really cool.
Wow.
Yep.
And then this took best of show, the piece that you
The
just-
leg piece I just
leg
shared
piece
took
did.
best of show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
This
it looks
one,
really nice.
that last one was best of the day on Sunday.
Wow.
It was
Hey,
cool
good for
though. There
him.
was a lot of competition. I think the best of show, there was well over 100 entries. So it was
Cool.
same with each day. So that was pretty remarkable.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's so much work for judges who are taking that stuff seriously. It's so much work. I've found myself more exhausted judging big competitions like that than doing big tattoos. At the end of it, you're just like, oh my God, I have no idea. Like, everybody's too good. Hard to
It's
pick.
fun. I have a lot of fun judging. I'm
Yeah.
so
I think,
ruthless. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm like.
Our guy Chris was like, he's more or less seasoned. We brought him on the Tattoo Weekly way back when I was in Texas. You guys met him when I was doing
yeah.
an August feature. But he is getting accustomed to competing. So he was giving the other guy in the booth some advice, like you need to sell yourself, or you need to say, well, can you believe it's this? Or can you believe that we sat this entire time? So he's got the
To the
bit of
judges.
a neck. Kind of to the judges, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Somebody says that to me. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, butter me up, try it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I know all about that.
Yeah, he was giving some advice on the butter without too much of the stuff that you would want.
Yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
anything. You just need to show off the
That's
tattoo.
great.
It'll look great. Just make sure you just take care of it. Don't over lotion it or whatever. And
Yeah, that's exactly right.
in my opinion, like I said. But on the other hand,
I got to hang out with Jason. I got to hang out with a lot of Reinventing community members.
awesome.
And Jake, a lot of people actually were, more than one came up and said they had seen the Tattoo Weekly. So I thought that was really cool. They had seen it
Yeah.
on Fireside.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we've had a pretty consistent, and not a ton like the other 7 people watching live right now, but I think we're getting a lot of views after the in the replays. And that's something actually I met with our video editor over the weekend, Scott, and we were talking just about what content and stuff we were putting out lately. And I was like, there's really no point in having the Tattoo Weekly sitting on all these channels just as they are. We really should pull them down, edit down at the end of the month, the best of the Tattoo Weekly from the previous month, and then basically lead that into the individual episodes. So I think that's something that we're going to put on our to-do list so that we can just get nice overviews, get to know, snapshots of whoever the interviews are, or if there's something ink regulation wise that's important, just things from from the previous 4 episodes that we can condense down to to something easily and quickly digestible. I think it'd be a good use of our time.
Sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
we can
today,
get a podcast version out too if we have enough quality audio.
So today I was going to show you guys, I know we have Jesse coming on in about 15 to 20 minutes. I know that we each have kind of our little features. Mine in particular is from Zach Lefty Colbert. He's based in Texas. He is a black and gray artist I've looked up to probably since 2013. I saw him at a show, and just his character, the way that he walked around and was respected, yet super friendly and humble. I was just, always looked up with him. And I came across he tattoos a lot of professional athletes, and actually ESPN featured one of his, like the whole process during the football game, and it was on ESPN, which I think, in the tattoo industry, there's pros and cons to sports, but a lot of you guys are tattooing high-end clientele, celebrity athletes and stuff like that. So it is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
When they get great tattoos, it's awesome.
When they get great
We'll
tattoos.
stop making fun of them if they all get great tattoos. Zach's an amazing. Lefty's a great fucking tattooer. He's awesome.
Oh God, yeah. And if you see his work in person, it's just that smooth and
I'm a huge sports fan, particularly basketball. So I see, in football, sometimes it's a little tougher to tell. They're wearing sometimes sleeves and things like that. But in basketball, you're really seeing people's full arms and chests and things like that. And I always pay attention to the quality of the work at a glance. I always talk with Fireside about how important it is to have everything down from your thumbnails forward. And that's where that stuff really pays off, is when you can, sometimes you'll see someone when they're shooting a free throw and you're like, oh, that actually is a really nice tattoo. But when they're running the court, you can't tell. There's too much happening, or there's not a great balance of light and dark or whatever. So they miss the big picture, but then they execute it really well. And I think seeing people run up and down a court is a great way from a tattooer's standpoint, is a great way to kind of analyze and judge what a successful tattoo looks like from the basic shapes in, So.
Sure. Well, I'll go ahead and roll the clip for you guys to see what he's been working on.
Yeah.
My mom passed when I was 4, and it's been my biggest motivation since I was a kid, so I feel like it was only right that when I found the artist that I really like, I get her face on me, so it's been a long time coming. I lost my mom when I was young to pneumonia and, birth complications. I wouldn't be nothing without her. Everything you see in me, it's her. She the strongest woman I know.
Akinjo got that tattoo a month ago. The tattoo artist Lefty Colbert over at Infamous Ink in Waco wanted to learn more about his mom before he started drawing her face. So he actually went to Akinjo's grandmother's house, spent time with her, wanted to learn about the woman that she was, and what an incredible portrait that he has done. You can learn more from behind the scenes on our time of the men's and women's basketball programs at Baylor. New episode comes out this Thursday on ESPN+.
We've seen it. That is cool and beautiful, beautiful work.
All right.
Yeah,
Lefty,
that's
way to
so
go. If you're
cool.
watching, that was just so cool. Very well
Huh.
done.
Awesome that they worked in.
Congratulations.
Yeah, awesome that they worked in like Lefty's dedication to like in wanting to understand the woman before you tattoo her portrait. That's really, really awesome. And
He's been tattooing a very long time too, right? He's not
Yeah.
spring chicken necessarily. It's good to
Yeah.
see people keep getting deeper in with their tattoos and their clients and whatnot like that.
definitely.
When
Yeah,
they can.
and kudos to ESPN for actually acknowledging that piece of making that a focal point of the little bit. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
for
I think
them.
that there's just like this, that's relationship between sports and tattoos. But when they kind of articulate it that way and showcase it that way, I was pretty impressed.
Yeah. And he might have just tattooed a national champion. Baylor is so good this year; they might win it all. We'll see.
You can win championships for
Oh yeah, championships.
For
You should jump. You should jump on the
chasing
bandwagon,
ball
man.
kind of things.
It's
Yeah.
time. It's time for you to jump on the basketball bandwagon. Then we'll have something
So
else to talk
when I have
about.
enough time to get into the institutionalized gambling, I'll.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you found that piece, Lauren. That's super cool.
It is
Oh
pretty
yeah,
awesome.
like I said, I followed
great.
him for years and years, and I was actually quite surprised when I saw it. Saw it because it's just something that you don't come across every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's great when other artists and other general public can see that there's huge dedication into this art. It's not just a tattoo; it's a huge experience, life-changing.
Mhm. Yeah. And sports is really one of the best outlets, that we have to the general public. I mean, outside of people who want to watch tattoo shows on, Netflix or whatever, but billions of people watch sports and they all see the tattoos, and to see stories kind of trickled in. That'd be cool to see more often. Stories behind tattoos in mainstream, media, not just, you can go to YouTube and I'm sure find tons of information about artist tattoos, but in mainstream media like ESPN and CBS Sports, it's cool to see it out there.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, what else? So how was the turnout at the show in Philadelphia? Was it, did the bottleneck of getting through the doors deter people, or was it pretty cool?
Have you been to the Pennsylvania Convention Center before?
No.
It is massive. We're talking blocks by blocks by blocks. So in each corner of the venue, there was a line almost around the venue just to get in at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So, I mean, the turnout was spectacular. I was actually shocked. I've been to the show 8 times and that was pretty intense. But, the thing that it was strange though, because you cannot bring anything in. So it was kind of tough for clients like our client to sit that long without really being able to have any access to food or water or snacks or anything like that. Thank you, Jason, for watching. If you're watching, he saved my life with a Pop-Tart. It was
awesome.
That was really difficult. And I think that if venues are going to have such restrictions, maybe in the future, there's just a more practical access to food and things that we really need with processes like this.
Oh, I remember
So they had
sorry.
they had vendors and stuff set up where you could buy food, I assume.
Yeah, but considering the amount of people in, and it was just wild. There were so many people. So if you wanted to leave the booth to go get something to eat, kiss yourself goodbye for an hour,
Oh,
and
wow.
that's important time.
I don't know if anybody watching has ever been to the Roseland Ballroom, the old New York City tattoo convention, but it was similar. But it was small. It was definitely, it was like a tiny show. I mean, it wasn't super small, but compared to Philly, everything's small, right? But it was all run by the biker types, so it's there was no re-entry. And I don't know if it was food. I don't think that may have been hot dogs or something, but I just remember every year, the drinks were really strong and the food was not, and it was a long time there. So by the end of it, I'm not from New York City. So I'm all of a sudden I'm rolling out in the New York City streets. And I was always with tattooer people, and I'm somewhat streetwise. So, but anyways, that was fun. That was crazy. But no, it wasn't as fun as it would have been if we were able to have access to food. And yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. Especially more and more people are sitting for long tattoo sessions, and it's important that they're hydrated and have can eat and have space to stretch or take breaks and stay as healthy as they can through a 4 to 7 hour or longer process.
I think there's that that struggle between the health recommendations, the expectations of the public, alongside with practicality. Like our client just sat for 10 hours, we should probably feed him.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
In the somewhat vicinity, I suppose.
Yeah. Were the same restrictions like imposed on artists? Could they walk? I mean, I assume they could walk in with their backpacks or whatever for the day, right?
They could walk in with their backpacks, but nothing like in terms of drinks, water.
No drinks
Everybody
or-
was, yeah. No
Wow.
drinks.
See, I wouldn't even know what to think about that. I've never had that happen. I go and get bottles of water, if not
Yeah.
a small case of water.
Yeah.
I bring like nuts and snacks and like little, cheese, whatever kind of like smart balanced snacks and all those things. And I try to get enough to make sure the client has plenty. I have plenty, my booth mates, whoever for the day.
Yeah. You wouldn't be eating a steak dinner in your booth, but nuts
Right.
and snacks, that's important for the
Yeah.
overall process for you and your client.
Yeah.
I don't mean to hijack the Fireside Tattoo Network chat, but Jake, this one probably relates, well, maybe to you a little bit, but Eric's on here. He's like, that's my favorite show. I think Philly's talking about.
Yeah.
I remember waiting in line to get in forever. And
Yeah.
then one of the guys had to go put his pipe back in the car.
Oh God. Oh, that's terrible. We should talk
Better
to
than throwing it out, I guess.
we should talk to the promoters of that event and then they need to explain why in the world they would impose such crazy restrictions like that. Obviously, they're not tattooers, surely, if are sensible tattooers, right? I mean, who
Uh-oh.
puts that show on? Is that
Everyone, yeah, it's too much for me, is how I would put it, right? But no, it is. I don't know, Lauren. We're talking about Philly, right?
Yeah, I
So-
can say no comment on that or whatever, but
yeah,
That's all
think-
good.
I think-
it's
It's
a choice
a-
show. It's a choice.
yeah, it's
show.
Troy's. Yeah, it's a Villain Art show.
He-
Yeah.
I mean, he's clear about what he's about and stuff, and it's a lot of people.
Well,
And
that's-
to some
that's a-
degree,
that's an
when
incredibly
when you're
unhealthy
dealing with that many people, I mean,
environment.
it's probably it's one of the largest. I think it's the largest with a tattoo
Largest.
number of tattoos or tattooers.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know what the
maybe,
attendance is like, but I mean, it's
maybe if you're
huge.
checking everyone at the door, you said you're allowed 3 bottles of water and 2,
Yeah,
and
that's
so
a
many
good-
snacks. I mean, you can,
No.
it's not all or nothing, it's not rocket science to make sure people are healthy and
we're
happy
talking
at your
about health,
convention.
and health can't really be put into one little thing. Okay, well, health in terms of wearing a mask, well, they would check a mask and then it was almost like put it on, take it off. So it's not necessarily like we're worried about health, we're worried about following the protocol. So if we really focus on health, a proper diet, access to water and food, and wear your mask, if that's what's required, then
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, to
Yeah.
Eric's point, if anybody turned me back, and when I have been turned back, I've always been like, well, if you don't want me there, then I don't need to be there. Go fuck yourself. I
Yeah,
hate that.
right.
Pipe, man.
Hey, back to the chats. I was just glancing down. My buddy AJ Breeding says, "Good morning, guys." He's one of my long-term clients. I've been tattooing AJ since he was fresh out of high school, and he moved to North Carolina years ago, and now he comes back and forth to get tattoos. So AJ, I'll be in North Carolina next week in Asheville teaching a workshop. So I think you're in Charlotte area or something. So if you want to make a day trip, come say hi. I'll buy you a beer.
All right.
That's
Well,
all.
Gabe,
That's all I had to say.
what did
Yeah.
we're rolling into coming up close to bringing in Jesse in a few more minutes. So
Yeah.
Yeah, let me fire up. I've also, Jay Brown has been helping with some of the history lessons. We actually have a free course here. Let me click on it. So if you go to the, to reinventing and click on the courses section and find like the free courses, we got or do a search for it. We got the history of electric tattooing. Is this showing up
That's
here?
cool. Nice.
And so Jay, like I said, Jay's been putting in a bunch. I put in some lessons, and it's pretty fun. The early tattoo machine invention. So we go, way back. Got some of the tattoo museums tours. We got some talks. There's, these are from like the internet sphere. And I've already signed up. It's a free course too. So this is like perfect for apprentices, apprentice wannabes and stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome.
you
But,
say perfect. I think it's more of like a necessity.
Yeah, it should be required for sure.
Yeah, something like this.
And,
That's great of Jay. He's a
Yeah,
great guy.
absolutely. And so this is I was so psyched whenever he's updating stuff. It's like, oh shit, we already have like over 100 people that signed up for it.
Cool.
And the next step is to start getting in quizzes.
Quizzes.
How so? What do you mean by quizzes?
Quizzes.
Just at the end of the, like, just testing people on the content there? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got some. Oh yeah, the Ed Hardy talk here. So some of these are straight from just from YouTube. But
Nice.
then the Zico one. This is a pretty sick. Yeah, these are all great. So like, anyways, the tattoo history stuff is something that is so much fun to be part of. Documenting, and then both with the interviews and now with a new course. It's
Yeah.
it's freaking great.
Yeah.
Oh, also, speaking of that, that reminded me, Tony Urbanic has been, I love Tony, and he's got the Machines, Magnetism, and Mayhem show that we do through Reinventing. He's been posting up some cool things. I'm going to see about screen sharing real quick and see if you guys can spot the real or the fake. Well, not fake.
Oh, yeah. You
One
may have
he
shared
built.
something on this. Yeah. Yeah.
See if I can pull it up. And otherwise, we will be bringing in Jesse in just a minute. Okay, let's see if you guys can do it. Drop a comment if you think the left or the right when I pull this up. Okay. So one is real,
Oh.
one is not. What do you guys think?
Let's see.
There's certain characteristics about each that should be a telltale, but it's also very difficult to see.
Testing,
Yeah.
testing, 1, 2, 3, testing,
I'm sure I would just be guessing if I were to.
testing.
Gabe, do you want to take a guess which one's real and which one's not? Otherwise,
Oh,
if you
wait,
guys
wait.
have
Oh,
any
this is
guesses-
fun. I like this. Wait, I was just thinking about it. So what's sorry, I was changing my microphone batteries to see if that worked better.
It's a little bit choppy still, actually. What we're going to do is try to find out which one is real and which one is not, but I'm not going to tell you until the very end of the show.
So let me
Which one of
see.
these machines is real and which one of these machines is photoshopped in? Or
No,
it's- it's-
he built one of them. And Paul Rogers built the other.
oh, okay. Oh, geez.
So yeah, drop your comments, you guys, and at the end of the show, if you guys want to look it up, you can go to Instagram at T Urbanic Machines to see the photo again. But you might actually find the answer in the chat. So
Yeah. I don't. I see subtle differences, but I don't know what would make one, real and what would make one fake.
all
They
right.
both use the same style vise. They both have the slot for the contact screw. They both one has a wing nut on the contact screw and the other doesn't. That's one of the few differences I see. What else? The coils are, well, yeah, it looks, I guess, I don't know if the coils are set slightly higher on the left one than the right, or if it's just the angle of, I guess they're photographed from the same angle, they're sitting on the same table.
The left rear post too is a little bit, and maybe this signature is a little different. Yeah, we'll announce that
Yeah.
towards the end of the show. What do you guys think about bringing in our guests? You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it. We're
All
gonna give
right,
the censor
Jason
away
and
later in the show.
Jesse.
Well, that's crazy. So now I'm still scratchy.
Good to go,
That
Gabe.
sounds better. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So people, if you have, or people watching, if you have NFT questions, right, this is a good time to drop them into
Yeah, that's the
the comments
term.
or to the chat.
Now you're
Also-
getting it.
Yeah, what's up, Jeremy? Thank you for dropping a chat on the Reinventing YouTube. Happy that you're here with us.
Terrence Tutt wanted to know where to find the free course you were talking about. It's at reinventingthetattoo.com, right?
Yeah, and then if you click on courses, and then you kind of go through the course catalog, there's a free section, and we'll make it easier. It's one of the things I'm doing, but you can still find it.
Okay.
What's up,
and-
Jesse?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man. I had a question after editing our stuff from last week. Do you have some type of a setup where your camera like pans back and forth occasionally, like your phone,
Yeah.
or no?
It's actually it's my iPad. It's pretty cool. If you go, it'll kind of like refocus on you depending on where you put it. It's pretty cool.
What is it? Is it an app or it's like something that it sits in, like an actual like gimbal kind of thing?
No, it's just my iPad. My iPad's I guess the camera inside the iPad is doing
Oh.
it for me. It's
Oh.
this newest iPad. I think it's the is that third generation or fourth? I don't know, maybe.
Gotcha. Cool. Oh, you got Jason on there as well. I met Jason last week.
Jason.
How's it
Hey,
going,
how's it
man?
going?
Hey, Jason, nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Could you turn your phone sideways by chance so the camera could fill it up?
Yeah, I'm try doing that.
Jake, I
Thank
do
you.
have this little thing that
Okay.
would hold a phone, I guess, or anything with a screw-in adjustment where you actually go into the app and you can pan, or you can set it to follow you. So kind
Wait,
of
so
along
what is
those same
that?
lines. It's like
I
a
missed the
little
first-
Pivo thing.
So it's an external.
Pivo.
Okay.
It's like a little thing that you set that you can control where it pans. It's,
Yeah, I've been looking for our setup at a
Perfect,
higher
Jason.
version of that mounts to a tripod that's on a track that has all the
Mm.
smart focusing technology. But those are, I mean, the decent ones are, hundreds, if not, 1,200, $800 to $1,200, which you can justify if you're doing like, nice video work, but not for Zoom conversations.
exactly.
All
So
right.
you guys want to introduce yourself to Jason so he knows what's going on here? Of course, Jake we already know Jake. but
Yeah, we already met.
Lauren and Gabe.
Yeah. Hey, Jason and Jesse, thank you guys so much for being on the Tattoo Weekly. This is episode number 23, so we're happy. I work with Reinventing the Tattoo and Raw Pigments as well. And I was born in Richmond, Virginia, so I have a soft spot for loose screw tattoo.
Nice.
Yep.
And how are you? I'm Gabe Ripley. I'm a computer geek that has been working in the tattoo space since the mid 90s, I guess. And I'm a computer programmer, but then I do a lot of like business event promotion and that kind of stuff. So, I love geeking out on geeky shit. So crypto is like right in there with, it's pretty geeky.
All right.
Awesome, that's perfect. And I might as well introduce myself. My name is Jason So. Obviously, I work with Jesse. I mainly do the marketing side, and I'm from California, born and raised, so NorCal.
Nice. Yeah. You were really helpful. I've been trying. I don't know if you guys caught the first episode that just came out of the podcast series that we're doing, or the Fireside and Reinventing folks. If you haven't seen it yet, it came out this past Friday, but it was kind of an intro series. And this is my first attempt at kind of doing a documentary style where we just clip things out by subject. Normally I just do a straight on one-on-one interview, but Jason, you were awesome because like someone would say something that wasn't perfectly clear, and then I could drop in your textbook definition like directly afterwards and then cut back to someone else. So like it made it look like I'd planned it that way. So, and next time I will plan it that way.
Awesome, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun.
So
We'll
we'll-
definitely obviously we'll be linking to Jake's series, on NFTs.
Yeah. If you're watching this on the Fireside channel, which several of you guys are watching live right now, you could just click it on right after this is over. It's probably the last video uploaded. So
We'll get you a couple of teasers from these fellas, and then I don't know, maybe if we address any of the questions that come in, and or maybe some comments that came in from that video.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the I learned kind of last minute that Jesse and Jason were coming on. Actually, I didn't know Jason was coming on. What's the plan for today? We just talking about NFTs in general, or talking specifically about the Jesse, your project, or?
Yeah, I think we should start and maybe chat about the project. I mean, I guess maybe if we could just start like at super surface level, which is like, so we know that there's this NFT project that's happening. We know that there's ways to like get a wallet on your phone that has some stuff to buy the things that, why don't you let people know what they can buy, how to buy it? What's going on?
Well, there's a ton of different ways for this to work. We're actually going to be working with crypto.com, not on this specific drop, but the next one, simply because of how confusing it is. And crypto.com system is super smooth, so you go on there just like you would go any other website and put your credit card on there, and then you can just purchase off your credit card. Whereas like when you get out in the real decentralized world, you're having to connect to these wallets and
Right. Now,
scan
is
your face
there
and,
a common
put
wallet
your
or one that you would
fingerprint in there and all
recommend?
that stuff. I use MetaMask, but yeah, there's tons of them. What are the other ones, Jason? There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of ones, but the main one that's integrated with BC Bay, where a drop is happening, is either MetaMask or Crypto.com. So if you want to use a decentralized wallet, it would pretty much be MetaMask.
Okay, and now is that effectively like using any of these other apps that I'm using, to move money around, or like
They're
what
very
does a wallet mean?
Yeah, they're very similar. I'm not sure exactly what apps you're using, because if you're using something like, Coinbase or like Gemini, those are centralized networks, and the wallet's different. But the main difference, I guess I would say, is just popularity. MetaMask is just the most popular one and the most widely accepted one. So that's the reason why I use MetaMask and pretty much no other wallet. But for this project, Crypto.com has built out a really good wallet that works with this interface very smoothly. And also for people who don't want to deal with, going on to a new network, because this is not the Ethereum network, and connecting all that stuff and changing network. And that just becomes kind of finicky for new users.
One way that I kind of taught myself the difference is I didn't understand either. I have a Coinbase account and I didn't know why I couldn't just use that to buy NFTs if I wanted. But Gabe, it's kind of like if you have a TD Ameritrade account, it's an investment account. Even if you have some of that sitting in cash, you can't just buy off of Amazon directly from TD Ameritrade. Sure. There has to be a middleman. So it's the same basic idea, Yep.
Yeah. I don't have much money in that, but I do understand how it works.
Yeah. It took me a few minutes. I didn't understand why there had to be so many moving parts, but once I set up a MetaMask and connected it to my Coinbase account and transferred the money, then it seemed like a common transaction to me. Once I actually did it, I was like, oh yeah, this would be just like me connecting my debit card to my Amazon account or whatever else.
It's definitely like a rite of passage for anyone that starts off creating their own MetaMask wallet.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that I thought was interesting is how it, and I forget which one of you guys, it was either we did 3 interviews for our series. One of you guys mentioned that it stays in your browser, like you connect MetaMask to your Chrome browser and it just kind of sits up at the top. And yeah, so that's actually pretty cool, because like whenever you go to OpenSea or whatever, you literally just like like the MetaMask little plugin or whatever recognizes that you're on OpenSea, and they kind of talk pretty easily. And I didn't understand that when I did the show, and then I went through and I set up a MetaMask wallet and I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about.
Okay, so if you're interested in figuring out how to buy an NFT, you're going to get one of these wallets, and then we're going to go to this project, right? So once and all these people that already have wallets and stuff, they can go straight to this project. So let's get to the unless we want to talk about wallets anymore. Or there's any questions about wallets, put them in. Let's move on.
If you have questions about wallets, just wait for the next episode to come out on Fireside. Let's move on to the project.
Okay, awesome.
Cool. So I guess once you get a wallet, then I guess the question is why would you buy an NFT, and what's the value behind an NFT? And a lot of times, you're like, oh, I can just screenshot it and I can do this, I can do that, whatever. The thing about NFTs is they show proof of ownership. Basically, when you buy an NFT, it's connected to the blockchain, which means there's a bunch of other computers and a bunch of other people that are verifying that particular ownership. And once you have ownership, then you have these things we call utilities. And the utilities are the things that I feel like are most interesting. Aside from being an art collector and, of course, supporting the artists in the project, you have the utilities. And utilities can be essentially translate into perks. So what perks do you get with the ownership of this NFT? And so if you own one of my NFTs, you get free access to my tattoo convention for the however long you own that NFT, and any other events that I throw in the future. Essentially, you're part of my team at that point. So once you own an NFT, you're essentially part of the Jesse Smith team. So therefore, I'm going to try to take care of you when it comes to any of the projects that I'm involved in. And then we're also going to be giving away free tattoos. I think we haven't got the number locked down yet, but I think we're going to do about 10 free tattoos. And depending on which NFT you collect, depends on how many hours of free tattooing you get. And we've decided to open this up across the board, because I know not everybody wants to get tattooed by me specifically, or maybe people like my style, but they don't want it tattooed on them. So essentially, if you collect one of these NFTs, will finance for time that you've collected. Obviously, that's artist permitting. If an artist can't get you in, then I'm not. I can't make every artist tattoo you. But that's another perk that you can get from it. One of the big perks, in my opinion, is intellectual property rights. So when you own one of my NFTs, you own part of the intellectual property rights. So let's say you're a T-shirt, you own a T-shirt brand or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can essentially buy one of these NFTs and put it on a T-shirt and sell it to your people. And make as much money off of it as you want. There are 100%. You can't like change it up, and you don't really own the individual image. You couldn't take that image and then make a bunch of different images and then sell NFTs of those. But that specific image you could do stuff with. So there's little. It's not 100%.
You froze up. You froze up there for a second. Man, you got to get a hard line in that space right there. Your Wi-Fi is terrible.
I'm sorry.
Well, you froze up a little bit when you were explaining that. But when they buy that particular NFT, they can use that image for their own purposes. They own kind of the rights. So the example you were given was a T-shirt company. If they wanted to use one of your characters in their designs, once they own the NFT, they could print it on shirts and sell the shirts.
Exactly. So, once it gets on the secondary market, if you say, oh, I really would like this to be my logo for my company or something like that, you're welcome to do that. You just have to own the NFT in order to have those rights. So you can't just buy the NFT, do it, and then sell it. And then the next person owns the rights to that. So essentially you'd be selling your rights to your logo, essentially.
You mentioned before, like they own part of the intellectual property. How does that pan out in relation to you?
I mean, we've got to get it all hatched out, like the actual verbiage and everything. But from my perspective, it's one of those things where I'm cool with people using it for whatever they want to use it, as long as they're cool with me continuing to use it. If I decided I wanted to write a story about the character and put it into Carchaos, etc.
Okay.
So I would
dual use.
Like it's probably like a 50-50 ownership.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, am I breaking up?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. Jason, can you just share real quick about how that works, how the NFT is an actual smart contract and what can be written into that contract? Maybe just kind of so people understand what the utility, because what Jesse's talking about, the utility is really what the NFT is. It isn't necessarily an image or a collectible piece of art. The bigger part of the puzzle is the utility. So can you talk about what that is and like the smart contract and how it works?
Yeah, for sure. So just to add a bit more color on what Jesse's saying, the kind of license we're pushing for is CC02 license, which would give people the full ability to, edit, modify, and distribute the NFT that they've collected. In terms of there's also additional utilities that keep people within the NFT space. So two other utilities that we're looking towards is one, they can receive future airdrops. So within the smart contract, we'd understand the owners of the NFTs and we automate an airdrop. For those who do not know what an airdrop is, it's simply us giving you more free NFTs. So that way, if you get an initial part of the collection, you receive future collection or future artwork that cannot be bought necessarily. And with that, we're also giving, additional access to, future whitelisting and future drops, which will also be read directly through the smart contract. In terms of also, if we talk about like smart contract evolution in a way, we're also implementing the way to, when you claim your NFTs for your free tattoo, we actually have the artwork evolve into a kind of a different artwork, subtly different, not enough to make you feel upset that you like lost an artwork, but enough to make you feel that, oh, wow, this evolved into something a little bit better, something a bit cooler. So that's how it can also change on the smart contract level.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I have, I guess, like, and thinking about like the contracts and getting like access, or using these keys to get access, there's no like way to make it a monthly thing though. Like so like you could give people stuff in the future, but or do you wait for that NFT to transfer so there's like a financial transaction so that you're giving more stuff, or is it just really just a one-time transaction fee?
So in terms of waiting on when we would give, additional benefits via the smart contract, right now the practice is people don't necessarily do like a monthly, giveaway necessarily, or they don't necessarily like wait for a transaction to occur for you to receive a free airdrop. Keep that in mind. One of our future drops, we are planning to do something where if you collect a certain amount, you will receive an airdrop, transactionally speaking. So stay tuned for future updates on that. Don't want to go too much into that. But in terms of airdrop, usually that's done on a artist time basis. So like whenever they actually have the new airdrop rate to drop, they drop it. It's not necessarily a monthly commitment. It is not necessarily a transactional commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I thought was interesting in we did 3 different interviews so far for our series, and all 3 of you guys, 3 tattooers, it's Jesse, Nick Baxter, and Frank Lenatra who are on this series so far. And all 3 of them are tattooers who are doing NFT drops, but they're taking completely kind of unique paths. The utilities are similar in some ways, but not the same. It's not a one size fits all. There's really a lot of room to kind of move around in the smart contracts, it seems like.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's really crazy how in depth the utility world can get, and the utility being accepted as like part of NFTs now has been kind of like a recent trend in the past few months. And it's very fun to see how it's going to evolve in the future to even be more complex as utility.
Yeah. Yeah, super cool. And one thing that I've diving into this from the art world perspective, and everyone kind of seeing these like digital images as NFTs, and I think a lot of people kind of don't understand the utility piece of it. The way these things will start coming into our lives will be, they'll just start replacing, there'll be more efficient ways to do things that we're already doing, that like transactions we're already making. Yeah. So for example, a lot of you guys know that I'm in the real estate world. My wife and I have a lot of single family homes here in Memphis, Tennessee. And when we buy or sell a property, we're dependent on the Shelby County government to record. I can hire the closing attorney that I want, and they can record everything properly, but I'm also dependent on the Shelby County government and assessor's office to input that information correctly, to record it correctly, which they rarely do. They mess up almost every time. Something, I have to get back in touch with them, sit on the phone and get it fixed. Where NFTs, if we start transacting through NFT, we bypass all of these like kind of these bureaucratic kind of dinosaur institutions. Hopefully, eventually, it's a long-term kind of possibility. But then you start to transact through NFT, where the 2 parties that are involved in the contract determine what they are, and then everyone else on that blockchain verifies it, and we don't worry about the government entity to get everything right and record it correctly. There's another huge thing right now with like sovereign identity. Look at Ukraine or some of these places. We all depend so much on our social security numbers, our driver's license to as our identity to transact with each other. People know to trust us because banks can pull up our experience scores and see like, what we've done in the past. But if you live in a country where the government isn't stable, and suddenly your social security number, your documentation doesn't mean anything, and you end up in another country, there's no reason for anyone to trust you. You have no record that shows that you are who you say you are, that you've ever done business with anyone in the past. And so these things, what their biggest kind of possibilities are in giving like sovereign identity completely separate from any government. So there's a lot of potential outside of the art world. It's just starting in the art world, it seems like.
Yeah, and I love that you brought those 2 specific topics up, because those are one of the bigger topics that are being talked about in terms of NFT technology. And you're 100% correct. Like right now, we're in this very early phase where we have like these JPEGs, and people go, "Why do I want buy a monkey or like this other kind of animal? Like, what's the whole point of it?" But you're 100% correct. This is why NFT technology is going to be moving very quickly and going to be making lives very efficient, simply because of its integration with validation that doesn't require on a third party. And that's what we love about the technology moving forward.
Yeah.
Until the genetic scientists grow a brain the size of like a half a dozen warehouses to break the encryption. But that's far off. That's not happening anytime soon. So
not real soon, right? So when Jesse and Jason, when does the NFT actually drop, and where do people go to find them? I thought this first one was going to be on crypto.com. Is the first one on OpenSea, or? First one's
going to be on Ibiza Bay. It's an odd word for sure. It's EBISUS Bay, Ibiza's
Okay.
Bay. And we're dropping through them. So this is all on the Chronos blockchain, which is 90% cleaner than Ethereum. So, that was kind of a concern of mine when I was getting involved with it. There was a lot of people out there, talking about environmental impact and stuff like that. So it's very refreshing to me that we were able to find a place where we can, drop without having to worry about the massive environmental impact of Ethereum. So the first one's going to be on Ibiza Bay through Chronos. and then we'll be dropping on crypto shortly after that. I think all of our drops, we've got probably about 7 drops planned on crypto that'll be happening shortly after the Beast Bay.
And just to double down on that, for the Kronos network, when we were looking through different, communities such as the different networks, like Ethereum, Solana, Kronos, and other networks. Kronos networks, they have a great community and they're very utility driven. So they don't think about just the artwork only. Of course, that's a factor. They really care about how this NFT actually applies to real world usage.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't heard of Abesis Bay. I'll look them up. What did you say it's on what network? Not
Kronos.
Ethereum,
So CRONOS. So we have both Abesis Bay and Crypto.com. They're both on the Kronos network, and I believe they're actually partners together.
Oh, interesting.
Did you have a spot on the website that's like follow these steps? 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or?
So we are getting that built out in terms of not only a learning session or like learning section on the website, but on the exact steps on how to mint, how to get access to drops. So definitely stay tuned for that.
I'm also curious, I've been following all sorts of stuff, Jesse, which I really, really enjoy. But in terms of the NFT tattoo shop expansion and accepting 450 applicants, can you touch on that just a little bit?
So that's a separate project altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, Jason and I aren't like, that's not our projects.
Okay.
The ones that Jason and I are talking about are more like my solo projects.
Okay.
The tattoo shop one is with Megan Jean, Stefano Alcantara, Yomiko, Halo, and Daria from Russia.
Okay.
And I'm not, honestly, I don't know when that one's dropping or what's going on with that. I did all the artwork. I finished the artwork probably 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm just kind of waiting on them to re-engage. But I believe that they're looking to drop next month or the month after.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that.
So everybody's getting it all together.
What's
That's
that?
because it's all got to get like programmed and all of the stuff connected and the computers are chunking. It's not just as simple as just like buying shit.
No, the one thing that I found on these 3 interviews so far and everyone that I've talked to is none of these artists are doing this without a technical person. It's just like every single one, and some, like Frank's technical team is up to like 18 people, is what he told me at last count. So it's not something that is going to be at least right now as easy as us just. I mean, I may be wrong. Jason's probably the better one to answer that, but everyone I've talked to so far has had a Jason. So.
You're correct in the fact that you do need a technical team. You don't need a Jason though, but you definitely need technical people.
Right.
Yeah,
But we do.
I was just gonna say the back end of this is crazy. I mean, I tried to do it all on my own initially, and I was sitting there trying to set up a Discord server and doing all this stuff. And eventually I was just like, man, this is way over my head. And I mean, of course you can drop without all that stuff going on. I mean, I don't know if you guys know Kevin Boudreau. There's a bunch of artists who
Yeah, he's great.
Actually, Dave Koenig's another one that dropped. But the amount of success that you're going to receive dropping on your own without having someone who really knows the technical side of things is pretty expansive. So.
Yeah, that's what I see. Now on the other side of that, Gabe, I think, if you wanted to jump on and buy an NFT, you can do that without a technical person. It's just doing the drops. Yeah. I mean, you can fund your MetaMask and go on OpenSea or whatever and buy one.
Yeah. Cool. We have maybe time for one more comment. We knew this one was coming. This is coming from a Fireside viewer.
Ridiculous shot of wasted life on this. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Of course. Well, first up, we got like Ryan who says, "Hi guys, hi Ryan." But one of the viewers says, "You want a real limited piece of art? How about you get a tattoo?" To which it is actual non-fungible token. And then ridiculous y'all wasting life on this. Later, he's out. Dan's out of here. So we lost at least one viewer, but I think we gained a couple more.
Well, the tattoo wouldn't come with those utilities you're speaking about either. But...
All right.
The special access. Well, sometimes it does, right? Like if you want to get your taco tattoo, you can get your 10% off your taco tattoo. Your tacos if you get your taco tattoo.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
sometimes
I noticed, man, what was it back in 2011? I think where you guys did the loose screw tattoos for people, Jesse, flashing it about 10 years back.
Sorry,
That's
what did
just-
you say, Lauren?
I think it was 2011 when you guys were doing those loose screw tattoos in Richmond. Way back.
Yeah, with what, just doing free of the loose screw, like the little
I think that's what I remember.
logo.
It was a long time ago.
yeah.
We all got to pull together and help Jesse get some more internet. But to
Yeah.
the point, though, the real value it does
Yeah.
seem is that it's like the key to the access, and the fact that they're like the smart contracts that can be programmable. So like if the NFT or changes hands
Doing
and
free
there's more money at stake,
Yeah.
some of it can go back to
Hello?
different people. Oh,
coming through. You guys,
Just a little bit, Jesse.
Yeah, you froze up on us completely. I know we're kind of up against the wall here. Jason, do you want to share like where to go and learn more about this project?
Yeah, so if you go to our Twitter, we'll actually have it connected to our, Instagram, website, and Discord. So Twitter is, twitter.com/Carcaeus, CARKAYOUS.
All right. And if you're following I know Dan Wilson won't be watching the series, but if you're following the Fireside series, I'll have all of the places at the bottom of each episode in the description
Awesome.
to go and learn more about each project that we discuss. And our series really isn't about particular projects. And Jesse and Jason, I'm sure you guys can second this. I really was trying to dive into what the technology was, what the potential was, and then we're just kind of introducing the projects as examples at the end. So I don't want anyone to think this series is about selling particular NFTs or anything like that, or pitching projects. It's really more meant to for me to educate myself and then take our audience kind of along for the ride. So don't think you're going to click on it and it's just going to be a big, sales pitch or whatever, because it's not that at all.
So we've kind of talked about the current state and the technology now. What would you guys envision things being like in, say, 5 years from now, when things are more mainstream and commonly accepted and understood?
am I still frozen?
You're good.
No.
You're
you're
good.
back.
All right, cool. I think one of the things that's really going to kick this thing over the edge is when social media really starts to implement it. So I expect that, Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff are essentially, and Twitter's already done it, where you can actually verify these NFTs. And I think that probably within the next 5 years, I'd assume that, most images are going to be created into an NFT from the social media networks right when you upload them. So there's automatically, verification that you own that particular image. And then that way people won't be, when you look at a movie or something like that and you try to screenshot a picture of it or whatever, and you get a blank screen, I think it's eventually going to be like that, where you try to screenshot a verified image and you just get a black screen. So you can't steal people's artwork and share it wherever you want, which of course is going to create a whole slew of different problems and ideas. But I think it's going to get to a point where people are going to have to request permission to use your images or pay you to use your images.
Yeah. So like, just to kind of break that down a little bit, I think when you were talking about what Twitter was doing is you can upload your Twitter icon, your avatar. And if you're going through an NFT system, like they have a plugin or whatever, Twitter NFT thing, then no one else could have that picture as their avatar. Is that the way that I think it was the way that was working, right? So it was like you're able to actually have like a unique identity. This is what, inside of this, Twitter space, but starting in the virtual space.
So
And
the
that
way that
seems
Twitter,
way unlike now.
the way that Twitter is doing it right now is you can connect your wallet and then you can grab one of your NFTs out of your wallet and you can use it as your avatar. Now,
Okay.
The way that they're doing it is they're making it so it's I think it's like a hexagon. So if it's an NFT that's verified, it's a hexagon. So someone can still at this point screenshot that same picture and use it as theirs, but they won't get the hexagon. They'll get a circle. So so it's more of saying, okay, this is the owner because he has a hexagon around it. This guy right here just copied it.
Yeah, and this is where when everyone's like complaining that like someone stole my, I don't mean to make light of it when your Instagram gets stolen or whatever, it's definitely a hassle and a half. But for me, that would be a sign like peace out on Instagram, right? But to this point, like if you were able to have like a confirmed identity through a Bitcoin or a crypto lock, NFT lock, then then people would, you'd have the authentic you avatar.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, and eventually what I foresee happening is it'll be everything you put in your feed, everything you put in your story will be an NFT. And I think that what's going to happen is Instagram and Twitter and all those, they're essentially going to say, you have to run it through this wallet first. It needs to be verified. Then you can put it up on your site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy
Once
times.
again, that's
Yeah.
just my thoughts.
Coffee and Tattoos just asked, how is NFT different than a digital logo? And I would suggest just you can go back and watch this episode again, or watch our series that's coming out on tattoos and NFT, because they're really not. A lot of people have a misconception, like we were saying earlier, about NFTs.
Different ballgame
NFT isn't
completely.
necessarily an image at all, so it's not a digital logo.
Yeah.
It's a smart contract, so it doesn't even have to be an image. Yeah,
I'd love to know. I'd love to, like, if anybody knows any more about the types of programming that can go into the smart contracts. I'm definitely down with learning a little bit more about that. Obviously not necessarily here, but or in the comments. I guess the other thing I just wanted to put out before we end up is if anybody has NFT projects or knows of any, drop them in on any of the comments or the chat places or wherever it is. It'd be fun to be able to check out a bunch of links for all the other projects. But then definitely, obviously, check out Jesse's, because
yeah,
that's why we're here.
That's right. Yeah. Well, have we said it all?
Well, I have tons of questions, but I'm not going to bring them up here.
We're 3
watch your
minutes
series
after.
first. Yeah.
Jason, you got anything you want to add, man?
Yeah, just one thing to add. So I know I shared over our Twitter social, and just want to say that starting from this week, me and Jesse are going to try to host a Twitter space. If you're not familiar with that, it's similar to like Clubhouse, where it's like a voice chat. And we're inviting people to come, hang out, chat with us, get to know Jesse on a personal level, or even about the project. It doesn't have to be too formal of a conversation, but just want to shoot that out there, that we're going to try to do it every Wednesday.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, sweet. Sorry, I'm responding to Coffee and Tattoos. They said a smart contract.
That's why. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You got the very tail end of a
Yeah, it's like
quick
a regular
overview
contract.
of a very
It's
deep
smarter.
subject.
All right. Cool, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen, everybody, for joining today. If you guys have any other questions and not in the chat, you could always, like you said, drop them to you guys directly.
We actually, so next week, I think we'll also have another NFT project. My old partner, Sean from Dark Side Tattoo. He's actually, I've known him from the very genesis of Tattoo Now. He's got a series of NFTs that he's launching, so it'll be fun to catch up with him. He's been a computer geek tattoo guy from mid-90s. So and it's fun because it's a different take. Everyone's got a different different way to get there, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm confused. I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, me too. That's
I'm
why I
less
just started
confused, though.
recording all my questions. Talk to smart people about it and see how they answered my dumb questions. We'll
We'll definitely have to catch up. So like when you're like a week away from the drop or whatever, let's we'll get you back here. We'll hammer out some some pretty pictures, some prices, and tell people how to buy shit because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hey guys, thanks so much for having us. We appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see you
having
guys.
us. Take care, guys.
All right. We'll see you soon, everybody, for episode number 24 next week.